Hello and welcome to Critical Questions, the antidote to lockdown boredom. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find, and with any luck my guests will be able to answer all of them. Today we have got Jen, we have got Badger,
hello,
we've got Bill, we've got MathPig, and first time on, Purple!
And of course, all you need is 42. All your questions are answered.
We already passed 42.
let's see if I can get the chat open.
6 times 9.
42.
Or how many roads must man walk down?
Yeah, that's the one I like. How many roads must a man walk down?
I've walked down more than 42. I still have no answers.
You did your requirements and therefore into bonus answers.
Right there.
I have a question for you, Dave.
What?
Why don't you mute all of us instead of telling us to be quiet?
I do consider that. I feel rude.
Forgets that they're muted. Because then everyone forgets that they're muted and they talk into nothing for half.
No, because he can mute us in OBS so that what we say doesn't go out on the stream until he's ready to let it go out.
Yeah, but then everyone forgets and we talk at nothing for half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that before.
No. That never happens on streams, does it, MathPig?
Never. Not like never.
Has any of us ever done a stream where there hasn't been at least one technical fault at some point?
None of my streams?
Yeah, I did that in my stream
No.
Thursday night. I started off going solo, and I was talking to myself for 10 minutes before anybody else came in and didn't realize I was muted the whole time. So my stream's got 10 minutes of silence at the beginning of it when it replays.
MathPig, as she's asleep, did she notice?
She did not until I told her, and it was only for 61 seconds.
You see, the previous...
And if you look back, it's literally all it missed was them talking shite. And just as I unmuted it, it was all, hello everybody, we're introducing them, and it was perfect, it was fine.
See, the previous stream had a wonderful technical difficulty. My old PC went bust.
I just missed the button.
Just missed it.
I like the OBS stream screw up I did where I thought I'd started the stream and hadn't.
Yes.
We did all the starting thing and then everyone's like, there's no video. Oh, crap. Then I start again and I do an entirely different fuck up which involved no audio for everyone.
Yes, you managed to you fucked it up multiple times the first time.
I did.
And managed to get a complete do-over and still screw it up.
Get a do-over and fuck it up again.
Right. Question.
Hi, Daily Atheist. Hi, Maya. Hi, Nerdy. Hi, Scummer. Who else is in the chat? Trainbeck.
Got a mean
not a
snail
great
pussy.
gamer.
Did you get Maya?
What?
Did you get Maya?
Yes.
Sammy
Sammy might have fallen asleep.
And the Daily Atheist.
Hello, Chris is here. Purple?
Nerdy, you'd think that I'd have sorted everything, wouldn't you? But in fact, I haven't.
No, sir.
There you go. Thank you, hellos for you, Dave.
I do hellos in chat.
No, I've said them in stream now because you seem to be lost.
I was about to ask the first question.
Yeah, Chris is beginning to get to be as much
lost
a problem as Jen's now.
What's Chris doing?
But no, it's just that there's like 4 different Chris's I'm following now.
Oh, great.
There's only one Dave, the rest are Davids.
With us, Jen.
I know too many Daves.
And they're all wonderful.
It used to be I knew too many Toms.
Actually, as
Now I
Dave
don't know any Toms.
We are Jen. Resistance is futile. You shall be assimilated.
Right. May I ask the first question?
No.
I don't know. Can you?
I don't know.
My answer for that question, Dave, is going to be a tentative yes.
I'll try.
I'm gonna answer with another question.
You know, yeah, actually, that is the first question, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
No, questions have
Well,
numbers.
you already asked a question.
It didn't have a number. If it doesn't have a number, it doesn't count.
Oh, okay. So it was a rhetorical question then.
Yes. Right.
That's why you asked all that.
Questions.
Yes. Question 247. Is there something you once... I can't actually say that word. Abhorred? Abhorred?
Abhorred?
Is there something you once hated that you now adore?
Oh.
Oh. As I was younger, I used to hate spicy food, and now I put fucking hot sauce and spice in absolutely everything.
Mm.
Okay, I like spicy food, but yuck. Everything.
Well, most things I cook usually gets paprika and spices and things. It adds flavour to everything.
Mm. I'm definitely find I'm eating a lot more spicy food nowadays. Although a lot less than when I came off the opiates. When I came, my food had got, my spice use had gone way up to the point where I was reacting to it, and we came off it, and all of a sudden I can't take half of what I used to be able to take.
We have an Indian that does pizzas. Fuck me and them pizzas spicy. Even their sauce is spicy.
Spicy pizza is yummy.
Oh my goodness.
I like spicy pizza.
Pineapple on pizza.
No.
Yes, I love pizza.
Never.
Oh, it's the worst thing.
Tom says capitalism. Scummer says Guinness. Tom says supreme pizza.
Hang on.
I don't mind a supreme as long as you leave the pineapple off it.
Brussels sprouts. Says Paul.
And the olives. I'm not a fan of olives either.
No, Paul, no. Brussels sprouts are forever hated.
Yeah, they're just terrible.
Yeah. I used to hate cabbage, but I quite like cabbage now.
It's like eating a bullet of fart.
I've even tried frying them. You know, if you get the bacon lardons and you fry them up with that, then no, it's nothing you can do with Brussels sprouts.
No, Brussels sprouts are good if they're steamed and, lots of butter.
Nah, the butter's good.
Yeah.
Just put so much butter on that you've got just butter.
Yeah. Are you sure you're not just having butter with a slight flavouring of Brussels sprout there?
Well, no, that's like French fries. French fries are not a food. They're simply a vehicle for salt and ketchup.
In my case, it's a vehicle for salt and mayonnaise. Generally Polish mayonnaise.
Going to say something controversial.
Oh, shit.
Cheese on toast.
Again?
Yes.
Yes.
You used to not like cheese on toast?
I can't stand cheese, but I've started to like cheese on toast.
How?
What?
How do you not like cheese on toast?
I don't like cheese.
How do you not like cheese?
Can't stand cheese.
Cheese on toast is basically a pizza without sauce.
That's just what I was going to say. You get all fancy, put a bit of pizza sauce on. You've got yourself a mini pizza.
I used to do that when I was a kid.
Yeah, still do
You
it
still
now.
do that sometimes.
No,
If you've got slightly stale bread, you can make yourself some nice little mini pizzas.
You can, yeah. I think the difference between cheese on toast and a pizza is that on pizza the sauce goes under the cheese, whereas on cheese on toast, any sauce you put on it is supposed to go over the cheese.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to.
And also it's on toast.
I think we can just agree that cheese is better than chocolate. As long as we can agree that.
Oh, definitely.
I
Right there.
can get behind it.
Quick answers. Ricardo says...
Cheese and chocolate.
No, I
No.
need chocolate medicinally.
Why would you destroy chocolate?
Quite a nice combination of flavour, cheese and chocolate.
Yeah, that's if you like
shit.
cheese.
Okay,
No,
I'm
One
going
of
to
them
say
together.
that my answer to the original question is the romance scenes in films.
Hmm?
I used to absolutely despise them, but now I tolerate their presence.
You tolerate them. You meant to, you don't adore them, which is the point here.
Let me put it this way: I like that they're there, but I still wish they were a lot shorter.
There is some pop that I once hated that I quite like now, which I find quite worrying. I was reminded of it.
Well, your tastes do change as you get older, Dave.
They do, and I think the issue is it's songs that I hated at the time, but because they were played all around me, they kind of went in as a thing now, so they're now more nostalgic. So I like them. If that makes sense.
And Dave's turned into a robot.
Your taste buds don't change. It's the kids that are wrong.
Right, quick answers from the chat again. Ricardo, socialism. Tom, anal. Nerdy, pineapple Jaffa cakes on pizza. Not a great gamer. Plugs of all of the butt variety. Tom, fish, all fish. Turns out my mum just can't cook fish. Do you know what? I didn't like chicken. I was convinced I didn't like chicken. I was convinced I hated chicken as a kid. And when I got to 17, I went to KFC. I thought, shit, I really like chicken. My mum can't cook chicken.
KFC's wrong though. KFC smells the same coming out as it does. That's not right.
Actually, I was serious about taking chocolate medicinally. That it actually is the most effective thing I found for suppressing the tics from my Tourette's.
That's really weird.
Oh.
Do you know what it is in it?
Well, they're not even quite sure what causes the Tourette's, but one of the leading theories is that it's an excessive number of dopamine receptors. And chocolate causes your brain to produce dopamine, so I think it clogs up the excess receptors.
Would that not also imply that sex might be a good way for managing symptoms as well?
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I've always had an incredibly high sex drive too.
We're back with it. Salt and ranch dressing from Tom again. Tom has a lot of things. Lovely. Paul said, "Oh no, that's not a like. Can't read that." People criticising the fact that I hate cheese.
Which is definitely a right to
Okay,
do.
Trainback is saying I hate imbrew. What is imbrew?
I have no idea.
Iron Brew.
Iron brew. Sorry. I had to actually read that.
Iron, but with lots more alcohol?
That's actually quite funny because that's
brew.
just what I'm drinking right now.
Iron brew lets you pick up sidewalks and sweep things under them.
Made in Scotland from girders.
Yep.
Okay, so is this like Scottish Red Bull?
Yeah.
There's
Sort
less
of.
sugar in it now. The people in Scotland went buck mad because they've changed it and all, but it is a Scottish drink.
Right. Tom said Lady Gaga. Maya says orgasms cure all ills.
I'm in a difficult position in that regard because I find it rather difficult to orgasm if anyone else is there.
That could be quite
Dan, you
insane.
seem to have frozen. You're giving me the most intense stare.
Sorry.
No, it froze you for like 20 seconds, and you adjusted
Did it
looked into
really?
the camera, and you were just there like.
He's hypnotised.
What's my internet doing?
Everything.
One of the things that sucks about this lockdown is I was actually, talking to somebody, through emails, and, I moved here, and then of course it was, getting the place organized so I could live here, and then the lockdown started.
Mm-hmm.
And if it had gone like, one more week before all this bullshit with the virus hit, I probably would have had my first date in 5 years.
You could have hit the lockdown at exactly the right time. You could have been stuck there.
Yeah, well, I am glad that we at least got the move done before the lockdown stuff started, because we would have been stuck in Michigan.
How much stuff is still there?
Oh, that would have been good.
What do you mean?
I thought you'd had to store some stuff up there.
Oh yeah, I did. And the real shit of it is, among the stuff I decided I probably wouldn't be needing for a few months is a box of N95 masks and nitrile gloves.
Oh, great.
So those are in storage in Michigan, and I can't get to them.
It's alright, they can't get to you either.
This is...
That's bad. You're always looking for the silver lining.
My sister works for a care center up there, so I told her where they are if she wanted to go and dig them out of my storage.
Mero popped up in the back room.
Ooh.
I
See, I reckon what you should do, Purple, is you should have dates online.
Who's in the background?
Mero.
Yeah, well,
Mero.
date online doesn't really help with the sex drive problem.
Well, it does for me.
Do you want to rotate me out for a bit so you can ask Mary the question?
Sure.
But that's due to my not orgasming around people business.
Hello.
Hello.
Perfect
Hey,
time.
hello.
Hello.
Right.
Hello.
Popping in to say hello.
Hello. You have to answer the current question now. It's question
What's the
200.
current question?
Go on. It's question
What's the current question?
247. Is there something you once hated that you now adore?
Spinach.
Spinach. Actually, I quite like spinach now. Sagaloo.
Yeah, I actually really like spinach, and also pumpkin.
No, I still hate pumpkin. It's still horrible.
Yeah.
I still don't like spinach because spinach. I once ate spinach just by itself, and I literally threw up everywhere.
Did you do it to try and get strength?
No, there was spinach, and I ate it, and I then unate it.
Well, I like spinach leaves. I'm not a big fan of like this baby spinach leaves, not like actual spinach, because that's still awful.
That's still awful.
I like homeopathic spinach.
What, lettuce?
No, I like spinach where there's so little spinach in soup
Not
that there
tasted.
might as well not be spinach.
Right, next question. Question 248. Should all drugs be ultimately legal?
Are we talking about recreational drugs?
That's a very
I would
big
like to
astounding
say
yes.
yes, but too many people are stupid and don't know how to handle things.
That makes a good point.
I
we talking
think
about-
it.
After you.
I think they should be legalized, but they should be regulated. There should also be a lot of education programs, and there should be a lot of opportunities for rehab. I also think there should be we should attack drug addiction as a health issue, not a criminal issue. So yes, I do, with the exception of ice. I think we need to be a lot harsher on ice because that's probably the worst of the worst.
What's ice?
Yeah, I've got ice in my drink.
Yeah, I like ice.
I don't see a problem.
Methamphetamine on ice.
Meth.
Okay, my question is: are we
Or
talking
bath
about
salts.
recreational drugs or just anything that could be classed as a drug?
I think anything that should be classed as a drug.
All.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, I'd pretty much just be repeating what Mero said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
let's go with yes, and or
That was eloquent, to the point there, Badger. It's beautiful.
This is why I do scripted videos if I'm actually trying to make a point.
Badger's into mushrooms.
right.
Sammy's awake. He made it.
He made it. I know. I was surprised. All right. Question 249.
Uh-oh.
Can I just add something to that quickly?
Very
before
much
we
so.
continue?
Yeah.
So, yes, I think they should. And I also think we should have what are called shooting galleries.
Yeah.
Which are
agreed.
basically like places in public spaces where you can go get clean equipment, take drugs in the presence of a medical professional who is there. If you happen to overdose, you've got people there straight away with the right training to deal with that. It should be properly administered.
Yeah. Do not get me started on the funding cuts in Brighton that the police cut all funding for.
Yeah, let's
Can we-
not even go there.
Can we have those, but so that they look like classic opium dens, but they're actually like properly managed?
Yeah,
Yes.
like that's basically what what I have in my head. That it looks like a classic opium den, but it's essentially a medical clinic with all of the proper equipment, the proper staff on hand who are proper professionally medically trained. Because realistically, if we're living in a capitalist system, if you legalize all drugs, there is going to be some form of taxation, and the amount of revenue that would generate would be ridiculous. You'd be able to fund virtually your entire health system purely on that revenue.
Yes.
I agree with that idea, and I also would like them aesthetically to look like a Victorian era opium den, just without the mismanagement.
That would be cool.
Yeah, just without the mismanagement and the racism.
Yeah, the revenue. The revenue was the problem that the state of Colorado was facing. That they were the first state to legalize recreational marijuana, and the taxes they were collecting turned out to be about 8 times what anyone had projected. So they're trying to find things to waste the money on.
Send it to me, is that right?
Exactly.
I'll have some.
I think my ventilators at the moment.
I'll have some of your legal drug money.
Tom says it should have a lava lamp, a beanbag chair, someone to guide you down from a bad trip, orange slices, and a doctor and some Narcan. I don't know what Narcan is.
I agree.
I mean, all the good that you could do with that money. Do you know what I mean? Like, even there'd be, as you say, with the whole the money that are made in Colorado. You know, it would be an abundance of money, because realistically, the same number of people that take drugs now are going to pretty much be the same number of people that would take drugs then. It wouldn't really make that much of a difference.
Yeah, the problem is, when you're discussing it, though, you have to take into account alcohol and nicotine, and possibly even caffeine.
Yeah.
Also,
absolutely.
you should. There's a point to be made that certain new people would start taking drugs, and certain people who currently take them would stop because they're no longer cool and illegal.
Well, didn't they find that after... Sorry, you go.
No, carry on.
Okay.
I'll say what I've got to say in a minute.
Okay. Didn't they find that after marijuana was legalized, there was a massive spike in the use of marijuana, and then like 6 months later to a year, it was back down to what it was pre-prohibition?
Pretty much, I believe. And also,
I think it was something along that line.
It had a direct effect on youth usage as well, because of the fact that it's legalized and monitored. It's not as easy for young people who shouldn't be doing it anyway to get their hands on. Do you know what I mean? Kids, like, whereas before in the illegal trade, not everybody, but some people that choose to sell drugs don't care who they're selling to. They're just going to sell it to every Tom, Dick and Harry. They don't care whether you're a kid, whether you're, do you know what I mean? They don't care. Whereas because of the legal system, it made it much more difficult for the youth to get hold of it. And also because it's no longer illegal, it doesn't have that sort of, like you say, that cool element to it. So there was a definite drop in youth usage, which is interesting because that's one of the key arguments that people use against legalization, that it will mean that more kids take more drugs, but in actual fact, in reality, the opposite is the case.
What happens is it goes from being that thing that all the cool gangsters in the trench coats with the sunglasses do, to being that thing that all the weird hipsters with the curled moustaches do.
Yeah, when I was one of the relationships where I was raising kids, we were very open about everything. So, we were polyamorous, we were going to swingers parties, their mother was smoking up regularly. And the older one, the only way she could find to rebel was basically to try and become Republican for 6 months.
How'd that go?
Yeah, like I say, it lasted about 6 months, and she decided it wasn't worth the effort.
I have some anecdotally, I've got a pair of friends who, as children, their parents were ravers, drug takers. So they used to take them to free parties. They used to smoke in front of them. They used to, you know what I mean? Like, they would take recreational drugs and not hide it from the kids, just be honest with them about it. And they happen to be two of the most well-rounded, nicest people I've ever met in my life. They are as people, they're amazing. Really good example.
Ask me later off stream.
Yeah. All right.
Right, I shall skip to the next question. I think we pretty much universally said yes, but maybe with some caveats. So a much more intellectual question next.
By the way, Marion, you should come on my channel sometime.
I should. That's true.
Like that script we got half written.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Should do that.
Question
Threw
204.
away for my PC to be unbroken, though.
Yeah, no, we need that.
Yes. Question 249. Have you ever rolled a boogie in your fingers, and what did you do with it?
I'm literally doing that right now.
This is why your
What are
PC
you
doesn't
talking
work.
about? Hang on, I'm just going to turn off my camera. Yes, and I think I went, yeah.
Yeah, I have basically just for the thing of trying to figure out what to do with it.
See, I'm of the
You know,
opinion,
it's like, can I find like a used wrapper or something that I can put it in?
see, I'm of the opinion that everyone at some point picks their nose, including the people who are so vocal about being disgusted by the idea.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise your fucking nose gets clogged. I mean, what? Oh, so you don't pick your nose? Yeah, fuck off, old crusty nose. It's just, you know, be sensible. Don't just fucking do it everywhere and wipe it on people.
Right, Nerdy says, pick it, lick it, flick it.
Yeah. I'm with Nerdy.
Why the licking?
Why not?
To
makes you
moisturise.
roll
I've got to find out what it tastes like.
I know what it tastes like. It's been in my nose.
Right, I shall switch back to...
Well, if you eat it, you're just recycling the protein, right?
Jen?
No, I'm recycling all of the stuff that my nose has caught that wasn't supposed to go in.
I didn't realise you'd done that.
Oh, we're there,
You
we're
didn't
there.
rotate me in before, so I wasn't paying any attention.
Right, I'm about to kick you again.
Oh,
See you
I was
later.
just
Sorry, I
about
didn't know you were going to
say,
skedaddle.
I was going to say I'm going to skedaddle because I'm running out of internet.
Oh.
So,
Run out
yeah,
of
I need
internet.
because I have 60 gigs a month because I'm too cheap to buy actual internet.
I'm getting a new unlimited SIM,
Oh.
so I might be able to stream
Sorry, you
more.
gotta deal with that.
They still do that?
Yeah.
We're in Australia, and actually, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, everyone's complaining about internet, but mine's been flawless because I've been going off my mobile phone.
I'm paying a fortune.
So everyone's having like okay, it's not too bad. It's not too expensive. But anyway, I'm gonna head.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Thank
say
you for
goodbye.
popping in.
Love you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for
It's
having
been
me.
fine.
Bye.
It's stupid power supply.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hey, I want to answer the drug one.
You want to answer the drug one? Go on then.
You're gonna have to tell me it again now.
I can answer. Should all drugs be ultimately legal?
Decriminalized, yes. Legal, no. As in, I don't think we should be prosecuting users at all for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But drug cartels and people like that who are profiteering off of other people's misery, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where are we going to get all the cool people in sunglasses from?
And are they not perpetuated by the fact that it's illegal?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there'd still be a legal drug manufacturer even if you have legal drugs, so that makes sense.
Yes.
You'd have people who are manufacturing without license.
Because we'd be able to buy it
well,
cheaper from
I
them.
think that was, Meryl was saying about they have to be regulated. Because if nothing else, you have to know exactly what the dosage is when you're taking it.
Yeah, it gets a
And
lot
on
less
top of that,
cost
some of those drugs are
effective.
incredibly dangerous, so
It
Yeah.
gets a lot less cost effective to make drugs illegally if you can just buy them.
Yes. Very much so.
And if you've got properly labeled containers for them that, tell you exactly how much of the active ingredients are in them.
and if you can get them via prescription, which works all right in countries where we have decent healthcare, but it screws you guys in the US a bit.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, well-
I
the only
don't,
person here is actually purple, but hey.
when I can just pop down the shop and get some pills. I don't need to go and see dodgy Dennis in the back alley about me paracetamol.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you look what happened in the U.S. when they outlawed alcohol.
Also, dodgy Dennis smells.
Yeah.
I think you also find the way that you're funding healthcare means that they seem to want to give you all the drugs in one go. I was looking at the thing from surgeries, from recovery from surgeries, the quantity of opiates they give in. They turn around and say, these are all the opiates you need for recovery.
And I think that also goes back to that some of the doctors are aware that the patients may not be able to afford the copays for return visits.
What is that?
Oh no. Okay, I've just seen the perfect post on Twitter.
Is it about drug use?
Maybe.
I don't believe you. Right, let me read these first then. Tom says, if you can handle your drugs and maintain a day job, there's no misery. Tom says, the constant comparison is alcohol. It's created plenty of misery and we don't give a single fuck. I totally agree. Over 50 people who die of hard drugs. Oops, oh no. Good, I can't read that. Methadone is bad. Walmart has $4 generic prescriptions. If they had meth and heroin, people would much rather have safe alternatives. Yeah. Sammy says he can't wait until he can buy weed over the counter.
Yeah, I forgot.
Go on.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I give a shit about alcohol. I mean, look at the fucking price of it down Morrison's.
And it should be more expensive, and weed should be a lot cheaper.
No. Well, yes, on the weed.
Why should alcohol be more expensive? I mean, it's still a recreational drug.
Because right now, why should it be more expensive? Because right now the amount it costs our health service is greater than the amount they earn in taxes from it. The tax.
Or that's just a problem with the taxes, though.
Yes, but my point being that I think the taxes that we should at the very least be making as much from it, governmentally, societally, as it's costing us.
Well, yes, it should be modelled the same sort of way that what the hell have you done, Badger? It should be modelled the same way that cigarettes are.
Yes, right.
This is zoomed in Twitter. It's a Twitter account I'm following called Ruin Johnson.
Sum up your feelings about my perfect movie, The Last Jedi, in the form of a GIF. Let's have it, man babies.
And this is the first reply.
Was that your replay, Badger?
No, it was gonna be, but Club Star Wars beat me to it.
Yeah, you know, and even in the movie that came from that made no sense, because the pile they showed was about a quarter the size of the animal that was supposed to have left it.
You have never seen my Jack Russell shit.
Are you going to take footage of it for everybody, are you?
No, it's okay. Tom says, where I live, you don't even need a counter. They deliver weed to my mum all the time. She orders joints and edibles and vape cartridges, and they throw in gummies and pre-rolled joints. Crazy. Is that legal?
I'm guessing he lives in California because, yeah, I've heard they do that there.
That sounds quite cool. Although
I've
saying
heard
that, how do they roll joints in when you're buying them? As in, does somebody roll them? As in, who's licking them?
Yeah, they're pre-rolled.
Yeah, who's licked them?
Who's licking them at the moment?
Imagine they use like a rolly machine.
How are you still got to moisten it still to get
It'd be a mechanical liquor.
A mechanical liquor. If
like,
there was mechanical
the
liquors, there would be another market for them.
It'd be like the cat's washing machine in Red Dwarf.
Badger, I've got one of them. It vibrates very nicely.
Yeah, when I was living in Michigan, they legalized recreational marijuana. You know, that you could use it in public and you couldn't get arrested. And everybody was cheering for that, but I think most people did not read the whole thing because while it was legal to use it, it was still illegal to buy, sell, or trade it. And it was legal to grow your own, but it was still illegal to purchase the seeds. So it's like, if it miraculously appeared in your living room, you were okay. But if you obtained it from any manner possible in the physical realm, you could still get arrested.
That's why one of the biggest trades between the UK and the US is in cannabis seeds, because here it's the opposite way around. You're allowed to buy seeds, you're allowed to possess seeds, you're allowed to trade seeds. You can do anything with seeds, but you're not allowed to cultivate them. So there's a huge industry between the US and the UK, and the US buys seeds through us, and then we ship seeds to the US and you guys grow it.
Is this why you've got a budgie?
Because nothing succeeds like a budgie.
No, there was a thing that people have got round law things in the past by budgies having budgie food, bird food having cannabis seeds in it.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, currently it's straight up legal.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to ship me a couple pounds of bird seed?
My brother actually won a year's supply and he doesn't use them anymore and they're just sitting up the stairs.
Then go and get them.
Yeah.
Fill your hives with them instead. They're worth more.
Oh, I'm muted.
You know, I just set up a growing chamber in my bedroom closet here.
He entered a competition for weed and won a year's supply of this entire brand's seeds. So there's like 140 fucking different varieties.
Do they know how much you smoke? A year's supply could bankrupt them.
No, it was seeds. It was seeds, man. They give them their entire year's, you know, what they sold in their brand for the year.
Fair enough.
Like 140 different varieties of seeds.
Well, I've heard some varieties are good at helping you sleep, and that's what I want to know, which ones that is.
Usually that would be an indica. Indicas are a very heavy narcotic body thing, so they tend to help with sleeping. Sativas are more of a heady thing, so they will actually keep you awake as opposed to make you sleep.
I am desperate for anything that will make me fall asleep.
There's a big rock.
Yeah, you want
big rock.
You want a heavy indica, like 70% or more indica strain will couch lock you, stroke send you to sleep.
Have you considered watching Capturing Christianity's YouTube channel?
Oh.
No. No.
How do you capture them though? I mean,
well, there are times where I've seriously considered making my own chloroform to knock myself out.
you throw Christian balls at them and they...
Right.
It took me a second to figure out what the hell you were talking about.
Question 250. Would you rather have a head that is too big for your body or have a high-pitched voice?
Did we not do this one? No.
We did this on your show.
Ah, that's okay.
My head's already too big for my body. Look at it.
It is how you keep pulling your badger.
Again, it's a question of degrees. I mean, you know.
Well, head too big for my body, I'm thinking wide. I'm thinking bobblehead.
Yeah, well, I was thinking more of the high-pitched voice is, you know, how many octaves are we talking going up here?
Oh, we're talking really squeaky.
You sound like a dolphin.
No. Well, I have a problem with high pitches and that, so I probably wouldn't be able to stand myself talking then.
Yeah, but you'd be able to sing soprano.
So if I picked the high-pitched voice, would my head shrink if it was already too big?
No. Your head would be its current size.
Which is already too big.
Which is already too big.
Well, yeah, I've kind of got the same problem with the frill, you know, but...
Yeah, I'm definitely going with the high-pitched voice because I'm already top-heavy.
Sammy says, which head?
Good point.
If I'm all ahead, it wouldn't matter if mine's bigger, I could just move back away from
You can zoom out in OBS. Bigger head, further away. Bill!
These ones are far away.
What was the question?
Would you prefer to have a head that is too big for your body or a high-pitched voice?
Probably a high-pitched voice. It didn't do anything bad for Joe Pasquale, did it?
Yeah, Diana says making chloroform is quite easy, judging the dose is not. And yet, that's about the only reason I haven't tried it.
Do you need to judge the dose?
Oh
You
no.
don't want to die, yeah.
I'm assuming if you did it standing up and drop the things in front of you and hit the bed, you're going to be getting plenty of oxygen once you hit the bed. I mean, doing it lying down with the thing in front of you, that might be a bit...
I'm
Well,
very
that's
confused.
kind of what I was wondering about. That, you know, as long as Sloth Girl was here to take the cloth away once I passed out.
Yeah.
Ow! Ow!
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna say I could try the high pitched voice.
You could try
And
the
then I'll
high-pitched
just
voice.
I'll pitch correct it in Audacity for like videos and stuff.
Yeah. Build some sort of auto-tune device that sits on the front of your face.
So,
No, I don't like to meet people in person.
Trainback is saying bubblehead for the fun of
Fair
it.
enough.
Now I'm thinking of the South Park episode where Mr. Garrison tried drugs.
yes, that was good.
And his head just became a balloon that floated away.
Lucy says, you don't need chloroform, you just need sardine oil and a tiger. I'm not sure she gets what the point is here.
Yeah.
Helium. Also, I've just discovered another perfect GIF response to Ruin Johnson's film.
Anything that shows shit?
Hang on. Here we go. Do you see?
Yeah. Press play.
Yeah, the image is too small. I can't see what's going on.
Did he just hang himself?
Yes.
Yeah, and he backflipped into it.
That's somewhat impressive, but I think that rope gets longer. Doc says, I'd choose the high-pitched voice. If I can weaponize it, I'll become a Sonic supervillain and call myself Banter.
That's a great idea.
Lucy says high-pitched voice. And here we've got 2 big heads and 3 high-pitched voices.
Hello, Lucy.
See, I think if I went for the big head, it would just make like going down to get my cheese awkward.
You go through the door. It's no wider than your... Not much wider than your shoulders.
Not much wider than my shoulders.
No.
Look, I'm fucking what's the word? Fucking dyspraxic, mate. I already bang into the door frame.
Well, you have to remember, you know, Badger's entrance is a narrow tunnel.
Yes, but he can gnaw a bigger one.
Well, if he can't get his claws in front of his head, he can't get in.
That's a good point.
Right. Next question. Question 251. Should we pay for political leaders to have access to better healthcare than the rest of us?
No.
No.
Why?
Why should a political leader get better healthcare?
Because they're our leaders.
Besides, they have lots of money. They can pay for it themselves.
I think that very much depends on whether I like them or not.
So do you think Boris should have been getting the healthcare he's been getting?
He should be getting exactly what everybody else does unless he's prepared to pay extra.
Yeah, I think he should be getting exactly the same as everybody else. Flat, full stop.
I thought he got the same as everybody else.
Of course he didn't.
I mean, yes, but
Well, no, he, as far as I understand it, he was treated by the NHS. But
yes, unfortunately, there is this thing. Have you?
yeah, exactly.
Have you,
he was higher priority.
There is something that if you are a member of the government or a civil servant, you can sign up for an organisation called Benetton, which supplements the NHS
there's
for very
something
little.
wrong with your country when Boris Yeltsin's been treated really well and is surviving, and someone like Tim Brooke Taylor dies.
Yep.
I mean, I'd much rather still have Tim Brooke Taylor around. Thank you very much.
Yes, very much
back
so.
back around 2006, they actually proposed a bill that would have been basically supposed to be a universal health care. And Senator Paul Wellstone put a rider on it saying that every member of Congress would be covered under the same program. It died overnight and was never heard from again.
Right there. Maya said no, never. Jeff says fuck no. Sammy says no. Tom says political leaders should have access to any health plan they can afford. If your company or your union get a good deal, that's great. So I don't ever worry that politicians can get that.
Yeah.
Doc says, I'll pay extra to give politicians better access to a pond full of snapping turtles. Sammy says, they should have to have the lowest available form of free healthcare for that particular country. Okay,
Yeah,
I quite like that idea.
That would instantly increase the healthcare of every country if politicians had to have the lowest available free. That would instantly improve it because they would make whatever was theirs would be great, wouldn't it? So then everybody would end up on a level playing field. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So
I also don't think politicians should get their stupid ass pensions either. They should have to pay into pensions funds like everybody else. And if they don't do that, then they just get a normal pension.
Oh, no, I have lots of controversial opinions about what I think that politicians should and shouldn't get. We touched on it yesterday when we were talking about privacy, but I think politicians should basically lose all privacy. I think there has to be a cost to being a politician.
I agree.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with that, because...
Why? Why should we trust a random person that we can't have any real knowledge about?
Why should we trust a random person in any context?
We don't. Yeah. We're not expected to trust any other people. This is the point.
All right, if you're expecting them to give up all of their privacy, Dave, then I don't object to them getting paid stupid amounts of money for that.
This is my point. My point is they should be well paid, but we should be able. We have to put in place something where we can actually monitor that they are doing their job, and that pretty much involves getting rid of almost all privacy.
Okay. Here's the
Well,
question.
I don't think they need to give up all privacy, but I think that all of their finances should be open books.
There's no point, though. Opening their
We should
finances.
know where they're getting all their money from.
Opening their finances doesn't help. Well, it might in the States. It doesn't really help them because you can keep your finances separate. It's not a difficult task.
Do you mean, when you say give up all privacy for anything going on during the period they are in office, or for anything they've ever done ever?
Well, I would go with all while they are in office, and limited access to a lot of stuff from, say, the 5 years before.
Because I'm thinking of this from the perspective of whether anyone. Well, I'm thinking of this from the perspective of whether I would consider becoming a political candidate if this was in place. And
yes.
Donna makes a very good point. Dave?
Donna, people have to trust me as a nurse with their lives. I also want my privacy. Yep. They don't have to trust you. They have to trust the system that you will abide by.
Well, they do have
technically
to trust you to a bit, because
though, isn't it?
No,
it'd be entirely possible for a nurse to just go to the pharmacy, take some drugs, and inject you with stuff that will kill you.
Yes,
you do have to have quite a strong level of trust that your nurse is not going to do that.
You're right. I don't dispute, but you are talking. What you are talking about there is an individual level of trust. You're talking about me trusting you, or me trusting a nurse. On a very personal level, rather than this disconnect that you have with politicians.
About 20 years ago, I had considered running for the St. Paul City Council, just because I wanted to see what the reporters would do with a candidate who didn't try to deny anything. There are naked pictures of you or does your partner know there are naked pictures of you on the internet? I'd be like, well, who do you think took the pictures?
No, I'm going to disagree with you on that, because if I was in the public eye for something like that, my response to any question unrelated to my political campaign would be none of your business. Just any
the problem is,
what did you cycle for today? None of your business. how is your significant other none of your business?
I'm being slightly hyperbolic. I think politicians should have to give up privacy that is relevant. If that makes sense. Right?
Yeah, I
and that
agree.
means that's not actually everything. You know, I don't give a shit who they're sleeping with. But I do care who they are having meetings with. I do care where they are receiving their money from.
But what if they
Definitely.
are? What if they are having meetings with Russian oligarchs while also sleeping with them?
Then we need to know about it. We don't need to know. Oh, do we need to know what they're doing? I don't know. I'm unsolid. I mean, I am at the point of saying I think politicians should have a fucking camera on them all the time. I'm close to that in terms of my
But I
idea.
really
In the
don't
same
want
way
to
that
see
police
Boris
officers
Johnson
currently
boning.
do.
Yes. The
Well,
point
or
is,
at least tracking chips so you can know what building they went into all the time.
I mean, like I said, I haven't thought it out to the nth degree. But I believe that you being a public servant means you serve the public. You are being paid by the public purse. I think that that you have a responsibility that I don't think most politicians live up to. And that is a
that's
complete
why
lie. I think lots
my
of
only real
politicians live up
concern
to it.
is knowing where all their money is coming from. Because that's always what, sways their decisions, is who's giving them the money.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Tom, do I want the government out of your bedroom? I want the government out of all bedrooms. I want them to stop fucking preaching morals. At the end of the day, the only reason I've ever given a shit who a politician sleep with, right, is when they're standing up saying that it's wrong to fucking cheat on your wife.
Yeah, a lot of times they are hypocritical.
Yes, I have a problem with the hypocrisy. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't go sleep with whoever the fuck they want. I think we have a right to know. This is where it gets. This is where I really struggle with how to work it out. Because if they are standing on a platform that are saying that they are this morally upstanding person, that family values means a man and a woman. Okay, then I have a right to know if that person is shagging a fucking boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Well, and the other thing we run into frequently in the US are the ones that stand up and say that abortion is immoral and do everything to make sure nobody here can get it. And when their mistress gets pregnant, they fly her off to another country to get one.
Yep. All the ones that stand on a platform against homophobia but are secretly gay
Yes.
bastards.
I saw an excellent tweet this morning by Jeff.
I tend to agree with the Ron Swanson approach to privacy. If anyone's seen Parks and Recreation,
Yes.
just
I would like to agree.
Ask a question and just why do you want to know?
Yes, apart from the fact that you do not live in a society where that is acceptable to the majority. As in, no, and I don't mean acceptable in the way you're about to respond.
I'm not about to respond. I'm about to ask you to clarify.
Oh, fair enough. Right, because they won't do the same. Right, we have biases when someone says something odd. Right? For example, in this country, as much as an awful lot of people watch American TV, okay, we don't have the right to plead the fifth. Us not saying anything is allowed to be used as a tacit admission of guilt.
Is there a tacit admission of guilt, though? It can be.
It's not an
said
admission of
as
guilt.
you
Is it? I was trying to
It can be
keep
used
it.
in court that you were unprepared to answer, but it's not an admission of guilt.
No, it's not an admission of guilt, but it is. You are allowed to use it as such. You are allowed
You can use
to.
it to infer that the person.
Yes.
I think you're overstepping that, Dave.
No. The big
used as
cases.
such,
Use is the wrong word there. But the point being, that they are allowed. The judge is allowed to direct the jury that by not cooperating, this is highly suspicious and should be interpreted in this way.
It can be presented as evidence.
Yes.
However, it's not entirely. It doesn't stand as evidence on its own.
No, of course it
See,
doesn't.
my
Right, my point was not to.
general approach. my general approach to anyone asking me any kind of invasive question is to either refuse to answer or remain completely silent.
Yeah.
Because any question of that nature, my response is generally none of your fucking business. Fuck off.
Yes. I mean, this is my issue. The problem you have is we have a compliant population. Okay, it is perfectly reasonable when the police pull you over to ask you a question for you to not provide any information. You know, we have policing by consent.
Yeah, that would be my response.
Right, but the problem is because you are seen as being obstructive.
If I was asked something like, if I was pulled over by the police while driving, for example, and I was asked something like, "Do you know how fast you were going?" and I did know, then I would say, "Yes, I do know. It was this fast." Or if I didn't know, I'd say, "No, I don't. How fast was I going?" And then if they were to say you were over the speed limit, I'd be like, okay. However, if they were to ask me, "Where are you going?" I would say, "None of your business."
They are trying to get you. The problem you've got is the questions they give you that they ask you will lead most people. And you not following the script is seen as a aberration.
One of the ones I find with that is the recording thing.
Yes.
Like if you record them on your phone, the police will try and say, "Excuse me, you're not allowed to record me." Well, actually, I fucking am, because that's the reason that we're allowed to have CCTV on the streets.
Yes.
Anyone is allowed to record anyone else in public.
Yes.
It is my right to do so.
Yes.
That's the other thing. I would record any
CCTV, mate. On you go.
Yes, completely and utterly. Right, and this is the point. The problem we have got is not... It's the issue... Again, I'm going to massively jump the thing. It's my issue with... I've talked to some of you about it before. It's my issue with human rights. It's my issue with rights in general. Okay? Because rights are meaningless unless they are enforced. Okay? So there cannot be inherent rights unless you have got someone willing to actually fight for them. Unless you have got a government that will mostly a government that will actually protect them, they can't stand. That they have no meaning. And you have this with these various different laws, and the problem you have got to deal with is the difference between how people will act and what the law says. Right? When the police tell people that you're not allowed to record them, the majority of the population will instantly stop recording them. Right? Mostly because they don't want to come up against... They don't want to be seen as... I don't really know. They don't want to be seen as a troublemaker. They don't want to be seen... and they end up in shit with it. I mean, I learned when I was a kid that I shouldn't trust the police. Do you want to know how I learned that I shouldn't trust the police?
Go on.
There was a stolen car that had been dumped in the car park opposite my house. I phoned the police. I was 11 or 12. I phoned the police. I told the police about the car. And the person on the other end of the phone said, "Go and wait by the car, we will send someone down to deal with it." So I went and sat on the ground and waited an hour next to the car. A random bobby came up and bollocked me.
It's an interesting word, that bollocked you.
Yeah. My view on the police and anyone else is I innately distrust anyone who claims to have a position of authority, because I think it is essential to distrust anyone in a position of authority in order to keep that position of authority honest.
I think we could argue at length about that. But I do agree with the sentiment. Go on.
I've been pulled over a couple of times for speeding, and I always find that it's easier to just be cordial with them and, not be an asshole. And like, I was doing 110 and he put me through for 75, and we ended up laughing and joking about stuff. It's definitely beneficial for me.
Yeah, I found when I'm stopped by the police that, if you're polite to them, it really disarms them. They approach the car expecting a conflict.
The problem this is the problem I've got with that I really want to argue gun control with Badger, because it's my biggest issue. It's my biggest issue with gun control, and why you need gun control. Okay.
Whereas I'm very much on the other side.
I know you
of
are,
that.
but the point being that in the states, the police have to approach the car as though the person that is sat on the driving seat has a gun. Okay, and I do not begrudge any police officer in the States doing that, because people do get shot from the driver sat in the car they pulled over. Okay, police cannot approach a car here with a gun. There is not allowed to be an expectation of a gun until they see a gun. So they're not running around with guns out all the time, ready to shoot, nervous that the person that opens the car door is just going for his driving license. Or anything like that. There's no expectation of a gun, and there not being that expectation means a lot less innocent people get shot.
Policing is done on a very, very differently here.
Yes,
it's a lot closer because of that fact. Because there are no weapons usually. Policing's a lot closer. The training is a lot different as well.
Yes, right. Now we've been all over the place. I need to catch up on the chat. Right, Donna's chewing me up about them being public servants. I need to think about nurses a bit more. I don't think so, because I don't class them as public servants, but I appreciate that they technically are within the NHS. I don't know, I need to think. I promise I would class them as not being there to provide a service to the public. That makes sense?
I'm throwing everything on the floor here.
You don't think nurses provide a service?
I don't think nurses provide a service to the public. I think they provide a service to the individual. They're not making. They're not making decisions.
Who is the public?
Say again.
But who is the public if not a collection of individuals?
Well, no. My point is, it's the point when you start having a collection of individuals with someone making policy decisions over them, that you end up with politicians. And you can argue whether or not corporations and leaders within corporations come down to that again, but there tends to be. The problem we've got is the capitalist system we have in terms of companies is very broken. We should have companies competing with each other at the top level. The thing that keeps capitalism honest is there should be another company that's over there that can do it better, cheaper, that will highlight the horrific things this other company is doing. Because when you've got companies doing that, you can keep them honest. What we have is capitalism where all the companies are in bed with each other to make sure that no one exposes any of the horrific stuff that's going on. So anyone that's grassroots that tries to highlight it is just seen as a crazy person. But like I said, I think there's a differentiation between what is technically they are providing health services, not political leadership.
It's funny when the silly questions start a fucking full debate.
Yeah. The original question is not madness.
Right, there we go. Right, for the Tom Nietzsche. Does the money sway their beliefs, or do organisations keep money to politicians who share their beliefs? You don't need to give a pro-gun candidate money to keep them pro-gun, which I find odd. But I think it's just so they keep staunchly with it. They're not. They can't be pragmatic. I think a lot more. I think a lot of honest politicians. Honest is the wrong word there, but would be more pragmatic about certain issues. I don't think most of them give a shit about abortion. But because of how they are funded, they are staunchly against abortion. Tom Nietzsche. There are homophobic politicians in 2020. Where? Everywhere.
America, all over the shop.
Yeah.
Tom, your courts can force you to incriminate yourself? Absolutely. Catching up with
also certain politicians in the UK, but not so openly.
It beats the police standard. I'll pull over the police while driving. It would be a fair cop. I can't drive. I don't own a car.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Bill's already answered these. Please. Please.
Sloth Girl doesn't own a car either. She just keeps taking mine.
What does that mean? He put his... Oh, I see. He wants to know what bollocking means.
Can she drive legally, though?
Well, she does have a valid license, so yes.
So it wouldn't be a fair cop, then?
the real reason. I'm way behind. Donna says, "Stumped you, critical cripple."
You
Which
went off
yes,
on a full-blown rant, like.
Oh, I did see that notch had come in.
yes.
Tangent.
Tom, if the government employs all nurses, then they are public sector workers. But I don't really understand the NHS so well. The point is, I agree that they are public sector workers. I just don't consider them on the same point as politicians. You know, I'm not really arguing that civil servants should lose their privacy either, but I could see an argument for it.
Well, and
Yeah,
Tom is
Donna,
saying,
you think the NHS is honest? I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, Tom Leach is saying about all the
Depends what
companies
sense.
being in bed with each other. Do you mean health companies? Because most companies compete with each other. And no, there are a lot of industries, especially the energy industries and the oil companies, at least in the US, that basically they engage in price fixing. There's no competition between them.
The problem is that the healthcare companies do. The way that they bill between each layer of it relies on this level of agreement that they will not charge honest prices.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's the same through the automotive industry. It's horrific for it. At every level, there is not fair competition. And again, don't get me wrong. See, this is the problem where I don't know where I come politically. Because capitalism as a key idea is good. As an idealized thing. But an awful lot of things in society is better when you get together and do it. At the end of the day, you've only got the healthcare system is the perfect example. Okay? Regardless of the fact that whether or not it is our government that pays for it, we pay less GDP for our health service than any country that has private health service, private health.
Massively,
Right.
massively.
Right. So
Yes.
it don't forget anything as to whether or not choice and whether all the various different complications. At the end of the day, from a capitalist, the US should be defending socialized healthcare from a capitalist point of view. Not fucking needs one. Not a. It will help the poorest. Not a. It should be defended because it is cheaper. That's it.
Yeah, well, having a healthier and more productive workforce.
The NHS is the most efficient healthcare system in the world. Bar none.
Don't know if I agree with that, but I do agree it's good.
I mean, I can produce evidence to prove it.
I don't doubt it, to be honest.
Can we have some more silly questions?
Yeah, well, the next question. Sorry. Question 252. What are we doing after this?
I'm probably going to have lunch.
Take a sleep. Lunch. Purple?
I'm not sure. I might wind up laying down again. I don't really know at this point. Or I might try to figure out why the hell it is that Audacity won't let me look at my own files.
I've been way too sidetracked in this stream. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Somebody always
Yeah,
is.
I was trying to remaster my Easter video and I wasn't able to do it because Audacity sets the permissions on the files so high that it won't let me open them again from the same account that created them.
I'm trying to get a bit of code working, which is
Have
annoying
you
me.
considered prayer?
I'm guessing my video actually hadn't paused earlier, Badger. I think I was just staring intently at the piece of code for 20 seconds. Trying to figure out what was wrong with it.
I think it froze you right as you started doing that. Because
What the hell?
because when you started moving again, it was a sudden jolt, and you were like the other side of the screen.
Okay.
MathPig, what are you doing after this?
I have to fold laundry, hoover, and then I have to go to Tesco's to get more food.
Have you managed to get more booze yet?
No, I haven't been near the shop. That doesn't matter. Like, I need food.
Bill?
got to carry on taking care of my nan as usual. I don't know what that will involve at this point, but lots of things I expect.
Can we expect more budgie videos?
Potentially, yeah.
With it actually talking?
I'm trying, but every time I stick a camera in his face, he shuts up. Like, he just refuses to say anything. Apart from that little one, did you see the little one I put on Facebook?
Yes. Facebook, no.
Oh yeah, I put a little one up on
listen
Facebook.
to when I go to bed.
Which sort of...
I'm going to listen to something really nice when I go to bed that will be a bit nostalgic. And I'll give you a hint, Dave. Angel Islington.
That'll just depress you.
Sorry?
That'll just depress you.
There's lots of people who have died who you can actually still feel good about watching them or listening to them.
Mm.
But yes, it is depressing that he's gone. Especially the way he went.
What are we talking about right now?
Mornington Crescent.
Tim Brooke Taylor.
The clanger.
Oh, sorry, you just
whistle.
wanted to know what game we're talking about. Oh, Mornington Crescent, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just confused in general.
That's okay. Sammy says going to bed. Sal goes, I'm going to pace in my apartment. I thought it's an appointment.
I'm probably going to pace for a bit as well, but I just do that.
Sit for a while. Tom says you find it funny that you call it Hoover. Sal screams more budgies, Bill. Doc says he's playing video games. Intellectual Iconoclasm says rubbing one out if the ripe isn't receptive. Right. What's funny is the next question.
Okay, well, I have heard that Pornhub is giving away free memberships while the this thing is going.
They are. Apparently they're doing a roaring trade.
Right. Just a second.
Well, they're not making money.
No, well, but they are. They're advertising, so... I don't know. Maybe not. Right. Question 253. Which is the best cartoon cat?
Ooh.
Simon's cat.
What?
Simon's
Oh,
cat.
Simon's cat. Yeah, Simon's cat's quite good. But see, if you're saying that, I've got to go with Henry's cat. I might have to go with Henry's cat. And you might not know who that is.
Best being our favourite growing up, or best being was the nicest person in the cartoon, or were vindictive and liked them to murder people? Like what the...
Well, you get to interpret.
I loved Red and Stimpy. I absolutely loved Red and Stimpy. But he is definitely not one of the best cats.
You like custard?
No, rhubarb and custard.
Yeah. Sammy says
I'm gonna
Garfield. Tom
I'm
says...
going to say Catface.
Say what?
Catface.
Who's Catface?
You know a Catface?
No.
Oh, I'll do the theme song. Hang on. Cat face, he's got a big cat's face. He's got the body of a cat and the face of a cat, and he flies through the air because he's got a cat's face. Cat face.
No.
The fuck?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of that.
What about the Nickelodeon cartoon Cat Dog?
Okay,
That's
Pepe
not a
Le
cat.
Pew technically was not a cat.
Yeah, it was a skunk.
No, he was a skunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept getting mistaken as a cat, but
No, the cat
Top
kept
Cat.
getting...
Surely the answer is Top Cat.
No.
Although if Dave actually asked which cat was the top cat, then the answer has to be Top Cat.
It's Top Cat.
No, please.
Sal says Fritz, Tom, Catbus out of Totoro. That means nothing to me. Sammy said cat dog, which you can't have. Peppy was a skunk. Cat face thing designed by a 6-year-old. For a 6-year-old?
A Catface.
Silly cat face. No, I've never even seen anything like that before.
It's made by the same guy who did the Badger, 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 Badger song.
And we would know that how? He only did one good song.
Oh, not true. So not true.
So not true.
I fucking beg to differ, mate. Are you not familiar with
Yeah,
Weagle
definitely.
and Bob?
I put his playlist on, and I don't get beyond Badger, 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 Badger.
That's because you're fucking biased. Do you not know crabs?
Oh,
You
Scratchy
see
is good.
lions only in Kenya. Come to Kenya, they've got lions. Sorry, that's my.
I'm
You know
sure
the,
you get
the
copyright.
bag of crabs.
Well, if we're counting big cats, what about something like Kimber?
Ooh.
I've got a big bag of crabs here. I'm gonna put them in my mouth. Oh yes.
He also did narwhals. Narwhals.
Well,
That's a great. I love that.
Is that a fetish?
Narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, because they are so awesome.
well, if we're counting big cats, then you have to include Voltron because he was made of 5 lions.
See, do you
Only
think...
one of the Voltron?
Okay. Do you think Thundercats count?
No, because Thundercats is stupid.
Well, if we're counting Thundercats, I want to count Catra from the new She-Ra series.
Well, can't you have Catwoman then?
We're counting. We're counting.
No,
we're
you
counting
can't have
Thundercats as Chitara, isn't it?
You can't have Catwoman because she's not actually a cat.
What about that cat species from Doctor Who?
Which one?
The nurses.
That were nuns.
Oh no,
Nuns.
they're scary. I don't like them.
Nerdy rodent right there. I never liked Sylvester. I like Scratchy as an answer. Cat
Oh,
Bus.
the cat from Red Dwarf.
Oh,
He's
yes.
actually a cat.
What?
How am I
Red Dwarf
looking?
is actually
I'm
a
looking
cat.
good.
We have an answer.
Yeah,
We have an answer.
the cat from Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Because you expanded it, and so fuck it, I'm having cat.
No, he's a cat.
Yeah.
Although that wasn't in a cartoon though.
Oh,
But still.
shit.
Cat
No.
and Red Dwarf win.
You're right.
Damn it! It's gonna have to be a cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been cartoons of Red Dwarf.
Yeah, there was that bit where they were all in claymation.
I was going to say, does
Yeah,
claymation
That's
count?
right, yeah.
That works.
That works. Great, we can have the cat.
Okay, yeah, if you can get the cat from Red Dwarf in there, then that's definitely the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In no way related, the next question. 254, which I specifically wrote for Amanda. Which is the best?
Great.
Which is the best of the cartoon dogs?
Lovely.
Ooh, that's harder.
Yeah.
So Muttley.
Muttley.
Oh, I quite like Muttley. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Scrappy Doo.
Well, Precious
Scrappy Doo.
Oh, no.
No,
Puppy
Scrappy.
I was gonna say Crypto, but the things with Superman with the dog are always the worst Superman stories.
Oh, Brian from Family Guy.
That's a good answer.
Oh, yeah, we have a
I
winner,
think we
Brian.
do.
Yes,
Yes,
but Brian is an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Yes,
douche.
I love Brian.
Brian. Yeah, I like Brian. I go with Brian.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot easier. That was a lot quicker than cat, and I'm not sure we're happy with the cat answer. I think there's going to be. That might come up on my list of questions I was told that we didn't answer right.
Yeah, probably.
In all
But
honesty, it
I'm
really-
still going with Catra from New.
Are we all cat people or are we dog
She
people? Because
Russia.
it boils down to
I
that.
like both.
I
Well,
like both too.
I just have cats because I'm in an apartment. I think if you have dogs, you need to have a yard so they've got space to run.
I've never had a cat.
Can't
So I
be
wouldn't know.
insane though. So it's,
I
I
live in a
noticed
farm.
none of us said Garfield for cat.
Well, someone in chat did. I did say it.
Or someone in chat did.
Yeah.
Sal says,
Yeah, but
"Fuck
I
Brian."
really like Garfield.
Says Ren is better from Ren and Stimpy. Bo Burnham did a piece on if Mickey
You
is a
couldn't
mouse.
live with Ren though. You really couldn't live in a house with Ren. He'd stab you in the middle of the night or something.
Tigger.
Garfield would just eat all your fucking food.
Dude, Garfield's just like a smug git. You know?
Garfield's a bell end.
Now, if you had Garfield and Brian as your pets, that would be fucking interesting.
They'd ignore each other.
I think they'd either ignore each other or they'd stray into each other's like mental territory, and then one of them would be dead.
Yes.
I don't know, like Garfield would try like writing bad fiction or something.
Right.
Garfield would mail Brian to Abu Dhabi.
Mm.
No, there has been Red Dwarf comic books.
Yep, there we go.
can
The
have-
cat wins.
We can have the cat.
You better find it so we can justify it. Right. Question 200.
I legitimately went looking for it just to prove that we could do it.
Question 255. Do you have a favourite joke?
Yes, but I can't remember what it is.
Helpful.
I think it's
I
just
have
me.
a favourite joke that's in incredibly bad taste, and I will not say it, but it's only my favourite because of the reaction we all had when we first heard it.
Yes, don't say it.
Can you
Yeah, I will not
can you do the reaction?
Like, I think it was like, "Oh my fuck, you can't say that in a joke," and then we all lost it. And
I
it was
have a
racist.
couple of favorites, but they tend to be cryptic references that nobody here would get.
All right. Yeah, I do have a favorite joke.
Go on.
In fact, I have two. One is short and one is not.
You might be able to tell both.
Here is the short one. So, a dyslexic man walks into a bra.
Huh.
Tom says, yes, it's a long, complicated joke about a penguin driving a sports car through the desert.
Oh shit, I've got three.
Intellectual Iconoclasm says, mine is an outtake from Boondog Saints. It was too offensive to make the final cut.
Oh shit, I've got four.
Go on then, give us another.
Did you hear about the dyslexic bank robber?
No.
Okay, so he was going to rob a bank.
Yeah.
But he'd never robbed a bank before, so he was a bit nervous. So he wrote down a script for how he was going to rob this bank, what he was going to say when he goes in. But he's dyslexic, so that was a terrible idea from the outset.
Yeah.
So him and his gang, they all go into the bank, they pull out their shotguns. He pulls out his shotgun and his script, points the shotgun at the bank teller, and he says, "Air in the hands, mother stickers, this is a fuck up."
Is that not a joke that Hitchens said?
Quite possibly.
Well, one that I tend to use a lot is that I'm an insomniac agnostic, a dyslexic agnostic insomniac.
Oh, yeah.
That I lay at night contemplating the existence of dog.
Yep. I know that one.
The dyslexic devil worshipper who sold his soul to Santa.
He still didn't get a fucking bike.
Jesus walks into a bar with 3 nails and says, "Can you put me up for the night?"
That was in The Crow.
Okay, one of my favorite ones for Easter is after Jesus comes back, they want to celebrate, so the apostles take him to a discotheque, and everybody's getting it on, having a great time, but Jesus is just standing there, and Paul goes up and asks him, what's wrong, my Lord? Why aren't you joining in? And he says, "I've risen and I can't get down."
So, do you want to admit my favourite joke is also a little bit long?
Go on.
Okay, so guy has a fancy dress party. He decides he wants everyone to come as emotions. So he starts the party. There's a knock at the door. He goes to the door. There's a woman stood there, and she's all stood in green. She says, "I've come for your emotions party." He says, "Brilliant. What have you come out?" She says, "I'm green. I'm green with envy." He says, "Oh, fantastic." In you come. Party's going on a little bit more. There's another knock at the door. He goes to the door. There's a guy stood there all in blue. The guy says, "I've come for your emotions party." "Have you? Fantastic. What have you come as?" He says, "I'm blue. I'm sadness." "Brilliant. In you come." Party's going a little bit more. There's another knock at the door. opens the doors. A woman stood there in red. She says, I've come to your emotions party. He says, brilliant. What emotion have you come as? She says, I'm red. I'm anger. Great, he says. Brings her in. Party's going on. It's been rocking. There's another knock at the door. He walks to the door and he opens the door and there's these two rastas stood there, stark bollock naked. One of them's holding a pear and the other one's got his dick in a bowl of custard. And the guy looks, he says, excuse me, where are you guys from? And they said, we come for your emotions. And he says, well, okay, but what emotions have you come as?
Wait, you've gone dead quiet.
Friend, he is deep in despair, and I am fucking disgusted.
Good joke, that one.
Fucking disgusted. Okay.
Wait
I've
there.
thought of a load more.
Just wait. Confucius say, man who run through airport turnstiles sideways going to Bangkok. By Jeff. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, why was Jesus always hanging around with the whores and outcasts? Because he was hung like this.
Okay.
Okay. Sammy says, what colour is a hiccup? Purple. Right there.
Okay, what did the Roman soldier say when he put Jesus?
It says, "Why the long face?"
What did the Roman soldier say when he put Jesus up on the cross?
What?
Go on.
Nailed it.
Okay. So, piece of rope walks into a bar, and he says, "I'd like a beer, please." And the barman says, "Look, I'm sorry, mate. We don't serve pieces of rope. You're just gonna have to get the fuck out." So the piece of rope he's very disappointed, but he goes out and goes around the back of the bar, and he ties himself into a little bow and kind of feathers out his ends a little bit, and he goes back in, and he says, "I'd like a beer, please." The barman says, "Aren't you that piece of rope that came in just now?" And he goes, "Nah, afraid not."
Yep, I heard that one.
I've got another one that's shorter.
Go on.
What's the difference between illegal and unlawful?
Go on.
Unlawful is against the law. Illegal is just a sick bird.
I've got one that's unnecessarily long.
Go on then.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there's this guy. He's a homeless chap. He lives on the side of the road, and he sees this woman drowning in a lake, and he runs over, and he pulls her out of the lake, and she turns out to be the daughter of a wealthy businessman. The wealthy businessman is he's very grateful to this homeless chap, and he says, "Right, what do you want? I'll give you anything that you want in exchange for you saving my daughter's life." And the homeless man says, "Oh, give me a $5. I'll go on a cruise." He's like, "You just want £5? I could get you a house. I could give you a job and anything. No, just give me £5. I'm going to go on holiday." Everyone's leaving because my joke's so long. So the guy said, "Okay, here's £5." And the homeless man takes it and he goes to whatever the place where you book holidays is called. What are they called?
Travel agents.
That'll do. He goes to travel agents. He says, "I'd like to go on holiday. I've got £5." The guy says, "Well, we don't have any £5 holidays." He goes, "Sure?" The guy goes through his list and he goes, "Oh, actually, we do. We've got a cruise you could go on." He goes, "Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I want." I'm really starting to regret starting this joke. So the guy he books this cruise for £5. And he goes to the cruise ship. He goes to get on the ship. And the captain says, "Well, you're a smelly homeless man, so we can't have you in any of the first class cabins or the second class cabins. You got to go way down by the engine.
Mm.
And secondly, you can only come out at night."
Uh-huh.
So he does. He goes on this cruise. He comes out at night. He goes on all does all the stuff that's available on the cruise, as was paid for by his £5 ticket. And while he's there, he finds a swimming pool and decides to try diving. And he does this, and he discovers he's actually quite good at diving. So then the captain, one night, he takes up diving quite regularly on this cruise. You know, it's something like a 2-week cruise, something like that. And one night the captain comes out and sees him doing this diving, and he's really impressed. And this guy's actually really good at diving. So he said to the guy, you should put on a show for the other passengers. He goes, are you sure? I thought you didn't want me coming out during the day. He goes, no, it's fine. We'll put on a show because you are an excellent diver. So they build this really tall diving board. It goes way up past the bridge of the ship. It almost touches the clouds. And all the passengers gather to watch this homeless chap dive. He climbs up to the top of the board and he dives. He does several flips on the way down, comes down past the amazed onlookers, splashes into water, crashes through the bottom of the pool. He goes down past the first class cabins, down past the second class cabins, down past the third class cabins, past the engine room in his own cabin, out the bottom of the ship. He goes down past all the fish, down to the bottom of the sea. And he swims back up and climbs back through the hole in the ship, past the engine room and his little cabin, past the third class cabins and the second class cabins and the first class cabins, swims back up through the pool and climbs out the pool. Everyone's really impressed, but the ship is sinking. So he's there, just standing on the deck as the ship's starting to go down. Everyone's getting on the lifeboats. The captain says, how did you do that? How did you survive going crashing through the bottom of the pool and all those decks and out the bottom and then coming back? And the guy says, well, that's homeless people. We go through a lot of hardships.
Oh, that's a dreadful joke.
That's appallingly bad.
That was so not worth it.
No, it wasn't.
I know.
It really wasn't. We all hate you now, Badger.
Yeah. Tom says, just ignoring
That's 3
OSHA
minutes
standards.
of my life I'll never get back.
Yep.
Tom says, just ignoring OSHA standards, is this a Prince's cruise?
Yes.
Jeff says, your mama's so fat Donald Trump used her as a border wall. Spooky says, what did the Zen Buddhist say to the hot dog seller? Make me one with everything. That's another Hitchens one. Well, Hitchens repeated.
Yep. I saw an Australian chap tell that to the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
It went terribly. He was there talking to the Dalai Lama. And he says, he goes for the pizza version. The guy Dalai Lama goes to the pizza shop and he says, "Make me one with everything."
Do you know the next part of the joke?
At him.
The next part of the joke?
Go on.
Well, he hands the vendor $10,
Okay.
and the vendor doesn't give him anything back. And he says to the vendor, "Can I have my change?" And the vendor responds, "Change can only come from within."
Yeah, I like that one.
I like the Dalai Lama's reaction to being told this joke. He just kind of sits there for a bit, looking at the guy. The guy tries to repeat the punchline, and then he just looks at him, and just theologically impossible.
So this has become Dave's joke session.
It has. It's about the last joke now. Then I'm going to do the last question.
I'm not telling anymore.
No, it's here.
I mean, we've actually driven away two
We haven't. They had to go. MathPig had to get to Tesco.
I blame Badger.
You blame Badger.
Oh,
You-
did
yeah,
you
you
get
can
sandwich
blame my
agents in
dad.
the side chat?
You can blame my dad for that joke.
I gave him the link. Sammy Jenkins is the last joke. A lesbian goes to the gynecologist, and after an inspection, the gyno says, "How do you keep yourself so clean?" The lesbian says, "I have a woman in twice a week." All right.
Didn't what's her name say that on QI?
Yes.
She did. Yeah. What is her name? Damn it,
Sandy Toxfist.
What's QI?
Andy Thompson. That's
Well, you've
right.
never watched QI.
You would like it.
You'd like
I
it,
don't know
Purple.
what it is.
Look it up.
You should actually model one of these quizzes as a QI panel.
Should.
It'd be
Should
good
do
fun.
like a whole OBS layout where we're all fucking, I don't know, in panels.
In panels. I'll show you my. Have I shown you my new layout? That I haven't switched to.
We'll call it QU. Quite uninteresting.
QM. Quite mundane.
Quite mundane. Yeah, that works. QM.
Right.
Or just Q.
Just Q. Quite.
Now, by the way, I did warn you about that joke.
Yes, you did. It was unnecessarily long.
I gave you 2 opportunities to tell me not to tell it.
Okay, so we need to push legislation for harder and more accurate joke warnings.
The problem is it was listed as a favourite joke.
Yeah, it is, because it's so bad.
Right. Question 256. Would you rather be a clown who distracts the bull or the cowboy who rides the bull?
Can I be the bull and take them both out?
Right, one at a time.
Can I be the bull and take them both out? I'm used to working with the horns already.
No, you have to pick one.
Cowboy's got a nicer hat.
I said, can I be the cowgirl who rides the cowboy?
No.
Oh.
None of your answers are within the rules.
Okay, I think I'd have to go with being the cowboy just because he doesn't have to dress stupid. Well, not as stupid.
Have you seen how cowboys dress?
I have lost track of the question.
Would you
I
rather
lost track
be?
of fucking everything.
Would you rather be a rodeo clown, basically, or a cowboy that rides the?
He's a rodeo clown.
It's a clown that distracts the bull.
Let me look at this. Rodeo
I actually think they probably have the second job anyway.
Oh, that's not even how you spell rodeo.
Yeah, rodeo clowns have the most dangerous job.
Rodeo clown just looks exactly like the cowboy, just with more colour.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
But the idea is that he's supposed to get the bull to chase him so that the cowboy can drag himself out of the field.
Oh no, and this guy's got one of those noses and some face paint.
Right, Sal says he prefers to dress like the clown. Is
Yeah,
that in
fuck it, I'll
general
do
or
the
an
clown.
answer to the question?
Yeah, but how do you outrun the bull with those huge shoes?
Well, you're not really trying to outrun. Well, okay. Right, okay.
Yeah, but
Here's
you're
the
not trying
problem.
to town.
Here's the problem. In writing this question, the only knowledge I have of either bull riding or rodeo clowns is from The Simpsons. So as far as I have it, the clown, right, only has to run 2 or 3 feet and then they jump into a barrel. I don't know if that's realistic.
That's the theory.
No, there's multiple clowns and they try to sidetrack the ball until they can get it out the gate.
What good is
Yeah.
a barrel gonna do?
The barrel gets knocked around and the person doesn't get
But there
gouged.
are lots of clowns, and bulls aren't inherently violent. They're only violent because some arsehole climbed on its back.
Yeah.
Depends if the bull
So the bulls
has.
tend to calm down once they toss the
Right, someone say what
Cowboy
Jeff
off.
just said.
Okay, this is the extent of my knowledge of things involving bulls. Just a second while I actually fucking.
Well, on the question of how hard does the bull buck, you're considered a champion if you can stay on for 8 seconds.
8 seconds. That doesn't seem like much of a show.
But I'd like to say I'm going to be neither because I think it's a barbaric sport.
Yes. Well, within the context that we are
agree.
talking.
I think that the rodeo should basically be banned the way the circus is going away.
Right, picture this video but with Smash Mouth's All Star in the background.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Hey now. Oh!
The way it goes with the music is somebody once told me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Culrophobia. Fear of clowns. Right. How hard? I can't. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, "I'm the bull riding the clown's wife."
Yeah.
And Spooky deserves a gentle tap about the head repeatedly.
What does Spooky say?
He repeated what Jeff had said
okay.
in chat.
Oh.
Unhelpfully.
Yeah, and I was not aware that the strap went around the bull's nuts.
No, I wasn't. I just read that.
Okay.
They use a
Well,
clinching
no
leather
wonder
strap.
he's trying so hard to throw the guy off.
Yes. Clinching.
It more adds to my thing of it's just a fucking unnecessarily violent sport, so they can.
Yeah, most of the events are animal abuse.
See, my experience with my direct experience with bulls or anything closely related to them is more just out for a walk on the moors with my mother as a small cub, and
Your mother was a small cub?
No, I was. Yeah. And all the cows being at the top of a hill and going, "Ooh!" and charging down the hill at us. At which point, my mother picking me up and throwing me into a hedge.
Well, you're a badger. You should be able to cope with that. No problem.
We have
And if I'm ready.
the terrier before last, Kai. Right, we were out walking a field, and this field is really it's Wales, so it's hilly. Right, so this field is made up of kind of a bump in the middle, and we walk across this field all the time. And one day, the dog comes running faster than I have ever seen him before over the hill towards us, and runs behind us, behaving very oddly. About 10 seconds later, an entire herd running after him. He's just hiding behind us like, you get to deal with this now. He was very good at that. He's very good at offsetting. Right, I've done what I can do. You deal with it.
Well, I've been mostly a city dweller, but I've heard of cows.
Of course, I've heard of cows. There's a flock of them over there.
Flying overhead.
Eases them. Yeah, if you need to light a cigarette, I assume that it's a horrible habit and really should use this opportunity to give it up. But you can always light your stovetop and then light your cigarette from the stovetop.
How do you organise a back alley rodeo?
You see, we need more animal water sports, is what I read first. Does that not sound very sexual?
Well, I tried playing water polo,
dolphins
but
are
the
very
horse
sexual.
drowned.
Yeah. Yeah, but the problem is, I hadn't realised he meant sports in the water.
But dolphins are very sexual, so
They
he
are.
could have meant that.
They're very aggressive. Well, with it.
Yeah, dolphins are rather rapey.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
They fuck each other in the blowhole. What the hell's with that?
Have you seen what they do with pufferfish?
Do we
No.
want to know?
Okay, so a pufferfish, I can't remember exactly what it is about pufferfish, but something about their the way pufferfish work will essentially get dolphins high.
Yeah, well, the
'cause they have
pufferfish
poison.
releases a toxin.
Yeah, that's it. There's a toxin in pufferfish, so the dolphins will just grab a pufferfish and give it like a squeeze, and then they just pass it around between them, and they'll all be there with this pufferfish, like, way.
Okay. Sammy says it's called nasal sex, Jen.
Yeah, this is disgusting. Well, it might not be. They might enjoy it, but it's kind of weird.
You see,
I mean, would
How
you
is-
want to be fucked in the nose or the ear?
How is it different to a blowjob?
it is a blowjob.
It's not their mouth.
No, but in terms of the idea, the principle, how is it different?
Well, the idea is because when somebody
'Cause blowjobs are usually
ejaculates, then it's
consensual.
going down your airways.
For a dolphin, it's a more sensible shape than the mouth.
Yeah, but it's usually blowjobs are usually consensual with humans. It's believed that dolphins do this as a form of dominance.
It's as consensual as anything else sexual is within the animal world.
The blowhole job.
Oh,
Right.
hell. You see,
We should go.
dolphins are lovely unless you find out anything about them.
Yes, from a distance. I can't believe that Jen is kink shaming dolphins.
The problem is that dolphins have the intelligence to develop technology, but inventing fire underwater has really held them back.
Yes, they need.
Not only that, lack of dexterous thing.
They've got quite a dexterous snout.
Got blowhole.
No blowhole.
So do elephants, but they haven't made fire either.
Right, we're going. I'm going to say thank you to. I'm going to say thank you to everyone. First of all, I'm going to say thank you to Mero, to Jen, to Badger, to Purple, to Bill, to MathPig, and to Mando. I'm going to say thank you to everyone in the chat. You have made this fantastically fun today.
It was fun. I'm glad I could finally get into one.
I know. I was so surprised to see
It
you.
was awesome.
I should mention that when my dad first told me that joke, it was about twice as long.
And you
I
shortened
was
it.
there. I was there about halfway. I was about a quarter of the way into it, thinking, "Oh shit! I forgot how many stages there are in this joke."
Yeah, well, the problem is you tend to do these too early for me. That it's just now 9 o'clock in the morning, and I don't really do mornings.
No.
I've always considered good morning an oxymoron. If I'm out of bed while it can legitimately be called morning, the day has little prospect to turn out well.
I agree with you entirely. It's just I'm in a sensible time zone for doing stuff of these things.
Yes. Just after lunch. That's a nice civilized time. First thing in the afternoon.
Civilized.
Fucking half
Yes,
past 12 every
civilized.
day.
Yes. Right, anyway. Shall see you all tomorrow. Bye!
Bye.
Bye, Pal.
Bye.